few people, but notwithstanding, we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead with our class as promised. So those who are not able to join, of course, they can watch the video if they so wish. So, but we're going to start. Right. So I'll just project. Okay. So last week well, I don't know. Was it last week we had class? I think. Okay, anyway, the last time we had class, we were looking at target costing. Okay, and we did an exam type question on target costing. Okay, so for those of you who missed that out, I think you need to refer to my videos on YouTube, so you can watch it and follow through. Okay, so today we're going to look at life cycle costing. Okay, we're going to look at life cycle costing. Okay, is that okay? Shall we proceed? Any comments, any questions before we proceed? Any comments before we proceed? Any questions? I hope I'm loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay, good. So shall we proceed?
Yes, Mr. Fofana, we can hear you.
Yes, we can do.
Okay, that's right. That's right. Excellent. So we're going to go ahead. Okay, so like I said, we're going to look at life cycle costing. So this is the outline of the presentation we're going to look at. First, we're going to have a recap on target costing. Okay, we're going to have a quick recap because I think we did target costing twice in 2 lectures, and I think the concept should be well understood by now. Okay, we're going to do an icebreaker. I'll wake up by looking at the life cycle of a mosquito. Okay, we know we are talking about accounting, but I think to create a bit of fun, let's look at the life cycle of a mosquito. We all know mosquitoes are a problem to us, especially in Africa. So, but if you look at their life cycle, it's so interesting. Okay. Then we will watch a short video, about 5 minutes, on life cycle costing. Then we will proceed to life cycle costing proper by starting with the definition, the stages in a product life cycle. We're going to look at the stages and how relevant they are to us as accountants. Okay, product life cycle stages and its effects on the business. Okay, so we're going to look at the elements of products life cycle cost, benefits of life cycle costing, challenges of life cycle costing, and then we're going to discuss a group assignment. I'm going to give you a group assignment, so we're going to discuss the group assignment. Then we will do an exam type question on life cycle costing, okay, using Google Sheet. Okay, are we clear of what is expected from us? Are we? Any questions on the outline?
Yes.
Very clear. Okay. Right. So let's proceed. First, we look at the life cycle of an adult mosquito. Okay. So usually a life cycle of an adult mosquito looks like this. So it all starts by an adult mosquito laying eggs. Okay, so they usually lay eggs where? Where do mosquitoes usually lay eggs? On our cupboards or on our net? Where do they lay eggs? Mosquitoes? Huh?
Stagnant places.
They lay eggs where?
In water stagnant places.
Okay, in stagnant water, in places where you have stagnant water, where you have water that is not moving. Okay, so that could be on our gutters, it could be on our septic tanks, it could even be a situation whereby we have cups or pots that have got some water in them that have been left there. Okay, so that's why mosquitoes are so predominant during rainy season. Okay, so that's where the adult mosquito lays egg. Okay, and those eggs are fertilized to become what we call larvae. Okay, to become larva, plural is larvae. Okay, so the larva also how to call it, germinates to form what we call pupa. Okay, the plural is pupae, and then it is from the pupae that mosquito will come from. Okay, so how long does all this process takes? Those mosquitoes, do they live 1 year? Do they live months? Do they live weeks? How long does mosquitoes live? Do you know?
I mean, it depends on where the mosquito is living.
It depends on where
They are living.
they're living. Okay, but on average, do they live months, or can they live a year, or they live weeks or days? I think some of us might be science students here, isn't it? Most of us, well, I have done biology and stuff like that. So, and I guess some of you will be science students, yeah? You must have done some biology before. Hmm? So usually how long? Do they live for months or what? Do they live for months? Have you got any idea? If they live for months, certainly they are going to kill. They are going to kill all of us human beings because they will be that strong. New ones will be coming, and So if these ones have to live for months, we'll be in trouble there. Okay. So according to science, they live for
7 days.
between 4 days to 1 month. Some can live up to 1 month. Okay? Some can live up to 1 month, but most can survive after 1 month. Okay, which is fair. In some science books, they say their average lifespan is 2 weeks. Okay, the average lifespan of an adult mosquito is 2 weeks. But just like somebody rightly said, it depends on where they live. Okay, so some can die, within 4 days. Some can die. Some can live up to 1 month. Okay. So, well, human beings. What about us? What about us? And what is our life cycle like as human beings? What are our average age, and how does our life cycle looks like compared to a mosquito? Let's discuss. It's good to know.
Mr.
Yes.
Average lifespan of a human being is around 60. It depends on the country, the standard of living, and other things.
Okay, and that is according to Islam, according to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yes, the average life of his people, that's this generation, is about 60 years. But the generations that came before, they used to live for 500 years. Some used to live even for 100 years. You understand? But for this generation, according to our Islamic beliefs, the average lifespan of a human being is 60 years. That means some can pass before 60, some can pass at 60, and some can even live beyond 100. There are some people who still lives for more than 100. Okay, but it's not common now. It's not common now. Okay, so right, and what is our life cycle as humans? Where do we start and where do we end? Where do we start and where do we end? You know, when you look at the life cycle of a mosquito, the first stage, the second stage, and the third stage, how are you going to classify that? Is that pre-bath, or bath, or after bath? The first three stages: eggs, larvae, and pupae. Is it pre-bath?
Classify that as pre-bath.
Exactly, as pre-bath, because this is before the mosquito comes into being. So as human beings also, we have a couple of stages. Of course, one is the pre-bath. You know, before you come to this universe, there is a life that you go through, even though people are not aware of that life. The life that you lead is the life at birth. Well, the life that you are aware is usually from the life at birth. But there is life even before birth as human beings. That's one stage. The second stage is at birth. The third stage is, of course, childhood. The fourth stage is adulthood, generally. And then the fifth stage is old age. Then the last stage is, of course, death. Okay, so those are some of the main stages of a human being. Okay, so we're going to use this life cycle of a mosquito, of a human being, and then we will compare it to our own life cycle, so that we'll compare it to our the topic of the day, which is the life cycle of a product, or a life cycle costing. So when we talk about life cycle costing, basically we're talking about a life cycle costing of a product or a service, because that's what we refer to when we're doing business. Okay, so just sit back and watch this video, then we'll move from there. Let's click that. Okay, so I just connect this one. Check this slide. So, okay.
Today the topic of our discussion is life cycle costing. First, we're going to see what life cycle costs are. Then we're going to discuss how traditional cost accounting system differs from life cycle costing.
I hope you're hearing the video loud and clear.
Yes.
Okay, then I'll continue. It's about 5 minutes, 5 minutes, few seconds.
Then we're going to see a few applications of life cycle costing systems and what are the benefits of using it. And in the end, we're going to discuss 5 basic steps on how to calculate life cycle costs of any project, service, or product. And we're going to look at the real-world example. First, let's review the definition of life cycle costing. Life cycle costing, or LCC, is a system that tracks and accumulates all costs and revenues attributable to cost object from its invention to its abandonment. So what is the difference between traditional cost accounting and life cycle cost accounting systems? Traditional cost accounting system reports cost object profitability on a calendar basis, monthly, quarterly, and annually. while life cycle costing involves tracing costs and revenues on a product or service over several calendar periods or over its total lifespan. So why do companies use life cycle costing? Life cycle costing can help the company to evaluate and compare among different alternatives and or to assess economic viability of the projects. Other benefits of life cycle costing include that by knowing the life cycle cost of product or service, managers can understand not only the acquisition costs but operating and support costs that are going to incur by choosing to produce a product or to provide service. Now let's discuss the application of life cycle costs. Any product, project, or service have two cost elements: acquisition costs and operations and maintenance, or also called support costs. Acquisition costs may include initial training costs, logistics costs, and if the product or service is developed internally, some research and development costs. Operations and maintenance or support costs usually include labor, energy, production costs, and ongoing training costs. Now let's review the 5 basic steps how to calculate the life cycle costs. First, we need to determine time for each cost element. For example, if we're going to produce a new product, we need to determine for how long we're going to be producing it. Then we need to estimate the value of each cost element. For example, what are going to be the labor costs every year if we choose to produce the product? Then we need to calculate present value of each cost element for every year. Once we know present value at every year for each cost element, we need to add them together, and these are going to be our life cycle costs. In the end, we will analyze the results, and usually companies prefer the option that includes the lowest life cycle costs. Let's review a real-world example. The company is trying to choose a vehicle for its fleet and has two options: to purchase a fuel car or electric car. When you look at the purchase price of two vehicles, it seems that the fuel car price is significantly lower than the electric car price. However, without taking into account their operations and maintenance costs, it's hard to tell which car is going to be a better investment. Let's assume the discount rate is going to be a 10%, inflation rate at 3.5%, and both cars are going to be used for a period of 5 years and then sold. Let's take a look at the life cycle cost of the fuel car. In the first year, we're going to purchase the car at $17,000. From year 1 to year 5, we're going to incur fuel costs, maintenance, and insurance costs. They're going to be our annual cash flows. In the last year, we're going to sell the car at a salvage value of $8,000. Once we know our yearly cash flows, we can calculate present value at each year. After we calculate present value at each year, we add all present value together and we come out with life cycle costs of fuel car, which is going to be $31,000. Let's compare it to life cycle cost of electric car. Electric car acquisition costs are going to be higher, but the car will incur significantly less fuel costs, less maintenance and insurance costs. We'll also get a tax rebate, and the salvage value of the car is going to be higher. After we calculated life cycle cost of electric car, we noticed that the life cycle cost of it is significantly lower than the ones of the fuel cost car. Thus, all the other factors being equal, the company will prefer investing in an electric car rather than fuel car because life cycle costs of electric car are lower.
Okay, so what do you say about the video?
The video is perfect.
The video is perfect, okay. Just tell me some of the few points that you've learned from the video. Okay, let's take, we start with you, Ibrahim. What are some of the things that you learned from the video?
First of all, it defines what is life cycle costings.
Okay, and how is life cycle costing defined in the video?
Yeah, it says that it's used to describe or accumulate actual costs and revenues.
Okay.
Yeah, actual costs and revenues that are attributes to each product.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing also, it's discussed about the comparison between the life cycle costing and this thing, traditional management.
Costing. Okay, fine, good. Thank you, Brian. Yes. Anyone else? What is your take on the video? Quickly.
I'm here.
Yes.
It's a didactic 5-minute video anyway.
It's a what?
It's a didactic 5-minute video.
Okay, exactly. Yes. So what have you learned from it, Makam?
Basically, I have observed that life cycle costing tends to accumulate cost of a product over several years.
Okay, like it's lifetime. Good.
And revenues, indeed.
Yes, of course, both the revenue and the cost of the product. Okay, excellent.
Compared to traditional costing.
Yeah, Makam, don't say all. Just allow the others to say all. That's a good one. So, Alaji, you want to come? Alaji Singata?
Yeah, I want to say something. Like, the main thing here, what I understood from the video is, like, it says, like, in buying a product, don't look at the initial cost of a product. You have to look at the product price point and the cost attached to it in future. That's what it is exactly explaining. You don't see a car today, or how would I call it, a suit today, a suit, which is very cheap. Let's say it is costing like 300 and the other one is costing like 500. But in next 2-3 months, the maintenance of that shoe or the repairing of that shoe costs you about 500, which is far more than the higher cost of the initial one.
Okay. Thank you. That's a good point as well. Anyone else? Okay, I think the life cycle costing is also another very important costing technique, as you can see on the video. When you look at the traditional costing technique, it only looks at the cost of products and services over calendar periods, maybe monthly, annually, semi-annually, and so on and so forth. It does not look at the cost and the benefits of the product holistically. It does not look at the cost and benefit of the product over its life. Okay? And as such, you might go into production of a particular product that might not be beneficial, that might not be profitable over its life. So what you are looking at is only the periodic profitability. And the periodic profitability, if you want to calculate that, you're looking at various products, assuming the organization does more than 2 products. Okay, so what you're looking at is periodic profitability, but not profitability of the products or services individually. And that's really important. That's really important because if you want to go into production of any particular product, you must do your analysis properly, just like the example that was given in the video. First, they had an option of buying 2 cars. You have the normal car and the electric car, okay? The fuel car or the petrol car, whatever you call it, and the electric car. Okay, when you look at the electric car compared to the fuel car, I mean, you will see to it that the initial cost of the electric car is very high, okay, compared to the fuel car. But when you look at the life cycle costs of both of them, you will come to realize that, in fact, it is more cost beneficial to go for an electric car than a fuel car. Okay? Because when you look at the short term, you will be baffled with the purchase cost and so on and so forth. When in actual sense, there will be some benefits, like in an electric car, you will not be buying fuel and so on. Even if you're going to buy fuel, it's going to be very, very small. Okay? So one of the most important benefits of life cycle costing is it can allow management to take decisions as to which product or service to produce over a period. Okay, is that clear? So it's really, really important. Okay, so let's try to consolidate our understanding. To be honest, the video has wrapped up the definition of life cycle costing, the benefits, the advantages and disadvantages, the real life example in a very, very short and precise way. Okay, but let's try to expand on it so that we can consolidate our understanding. Okay, so that we can consolidate our understanding. Right. So let me just cut the video before we go for another one.